Right now, stay off the roads unless absolutely necessary. We have live team coverage as the winter storm moves through the state.
Plus, Governor Tony Evers has declared an energy emergency for the entire state. We'll take a closer look at what that means.
And later, we hitch a ride with a local plow truck driver as they continue to battle Mother Nature. So right now, News 3 Now at 6. And thanks for joining us tonight. Whatever snow we are expecting is slowly coming to an end this evening, but the bitterly cold weather, the wind just settling in.
This is video from South Dakota where that wind already picked up, and it could be a preview of what to expect right here. Once again, like we have been saying all week, tomorrow is going to be a day you'll want to just stay where you are. So let's go right to Julian Seawright with a look at our certified most accurate forecast. Julian.
Well, as you said, Charlotte, tomorrow will be the day to just stay home, stay warm, and stay cozy because it is not going to be even close to comfortable outside. Take a look at our weather bulletins. We do have that winter storm warning in effect for all of southern Wisconsin. But for Juneau and Adams County, they're under a blizzard warning starting from now until 6 a.m. going into our Saturday. Now, we're going to be looking at all of this weather bulletins to really start to expire once we get into our Christmas Eve morning. But taking a look at our alert day, this is what we're going to be watching for. Tonight into Saturday, very strong winds are looking to pick up that could cause near blizzard-like conditions throughout all of Friday and parts of overnights as well. Power outages are possible with these strong winds, and dangerous wind chills are going to be right behind it. But now as we move into what we're seeing in terms of snowfall reports, now the snow is pretty much fizzled out. We could see a couple of flurries, but accumulating snow is pretty much over with. Here's some of the reports that we got from about 12 hours ago, but here at the station, we had recorded about 5 inches just about 4 hours ago. Now let's go ahead and get into where the storm is. In terms of snowfall, it's now moving into Lake Michigan and southern parts of I-39, just outside of Rock County. But as we see in terms of snowfall, it wasn't a whole lot, but that wasn't the whole deal with this storm. It wasn't going to be a significant snowfall type of storm that was going to sweep through the upper Midwest. Though some areas did see from 2 to 3, maybe even 4 inches, overall we all saw minimal amounts of snowfall. This is what we're now going to be watching for. This is the change that's going to be coming. Wind speeds starting to pick up and be sustained into the upper 20s, and this is just the gusts that we're going to be dealing with throughout much of tonight and until we get into really the back end of this weekend. Wind chills already feels 24 degrees below zero here in Madison, and that's going to continue to increase and or fall as we go into the overnights. Now, in terms of visibility, this was one thing we were going to be watching for. It's improvements around Madison, but areas to the east and south have deteriorated just a bit. It's one other thing we're going to be monitoring for those who are still going to be trying to travel as we head into later parts of tonight. We'll break down the rest of the impacts that are left from the storm in just a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. Check out this video from the Beltline today. A series of plow trucks all working together to clear the highway in one swoop. A reminder, be sure to give plow trucks plenty of room to do their jobs.
And the road conditions have been so bad, there have been so many slide-offs in parts of the viewing area that some counties have issued towing bans until conditions improve. In Grant and Iowa counties, if your car goes off the road in the next day or two, you may have to be prepared to simply leave it behind. While 60 plow trucks are on the roads right now, it's still been a messy commute for many drivers.
The DOT reports certain traffic incidents have doubled or even tripled since this morning. Arman Rahman is live along the Beltline with the latest numbers.
Yeah, guys, that wind, it just keeps picking up. No matter what layers you have on, it's just going to cut right through you there. Now, like as you said, the DOT says those traffic incidents have doubled or tripled throughout the day, and the county is saying that's in a lot of outlying county roads. Now, as of 3 p.m., there have been 102 cases of drivers needing assistance, 72 vehicle runoffs, and 10 unknown injury crashes. We've been monitoring some of these incidents in the area through highway cameras. Dane County highway officials say, again, it's those snow-covered outlying roads that are the most slippery, and those are the ones where conditions are changing the quickest. They've also noticed many drivers losing traction when changing lanes, causing them to slide off the road. So they're asking drivers, please be smart, be careful, and give other vehicles plenty of space. And, you know, when you look at the Beltline behind me, it doesn't look too bad in terms of traffic, in terms of blowing snow. And it's been this way all day. That's because the 60 plow trucks have really been focusing here on the Beltline and on the interstate. So that's why it's key all drivers exercise caution on all roads or just don't drive at all. For now, live across the Beltline, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
All right, Armand, get back in the vehicle. It is cold out there. City of Madison leaders today say they are making additional accommodations for people experiencing homelessness during this storm. They say the Salvation Army has bunk beds to accommodate more people. Porch Light has cots they can bring out, and there is funding available to cover hotel stays during extreme weather events like this one. And a developing story tonight, SSM Health, Dean Medical Group, closing its urgent care locations in Madison and Janesville tonight at 7 o'clock because of the weather. In a news release, SSM says it encourages patients with non-emergency medical needs to use their express virtual care options.
And the storm is causing concerns about getting gas and propane where they need to go. That is why Governor Evers declared an energy emergency today. Political reporter Will Keneally is at the Capitol with more.
Well, Charlotte, we knew that the roads were going to be bad, but it's slowing down everything, which is including the drivers that transport the fuel across Wisconsin, which is why the governor lifted some of the hour limits that the drivers can have to keep that fuel moving during this storm. So now, this isn't the first time that he's had to declare this kind of energy emergency. He's done so before for things like when propane is in low supply due to supply chain issues. So this order could last through the end of the year, but more likely will just last through the storm. So the key thing to note here is that with these orders, it doesn't force the drivers to keep driving. They can stop if they need to, if they feel that it is unsafe to keep going forward. Reporting from the Capitol, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
All right, well, thanks. And getting an update from Dane County Regional Airport tonight. Throughout the day, the majority of departing flights have been delayed. A handful canceled altogether. As for arrivals, well, according to the airport website, most of those have been delayed as well, with only a couple of cancellations. And in an update this afternoon, Madison Streets Division says it will begin plowing all city streets at midnight tonight, which will take quite a bit of time, but they are not declaring a snow emergency. Instead, asking people to find off-street parking to allow crews to better clear the roads. Well, we've been telling you for days to stay inside during these cold temperatures, but not everyone can do that to keep the roads safe.
In the case of one plow driver in Prairie du Sac, he's made some adjustments to help his team out during today's busy workday. Our Catherine Merck took a ride along with him to show what it's like behind the wheel.
Here in Prairie du Sac, it's all hands on deck. They have all their plows and all their crews out on the streets, making sure the roads are clear for people like you. But for these crews, it means making some sacrifices. For one of these drivers, his special day took a little bit of a detour with this winter storm. These snowplow crews know that winter storm days mean lots of time thinking about clearing the roads.
Obviously, it's a snow emergency or a storm emergency. It's however long it takes. That could be 12 hours, it could be a couple hours.
For Dylan Shaker, that means a lot less time thinking about himself.
Today is my birthday. The boss called me last night and asked if I could come in. Absolutely. I don't want to leave the crew or my teammates out to dry, so if they're gonna work, I'm gonna work.
These drivers are pretty patient and professional.
The Director of Public Works and Utilities says this is just the beginning of long days for plow crews. High winds and cold temperatures are making the usual strategies to get the snow off the roads more difficult.
Even this truck here, full of salt, you know, these roads with it froze down the way it is, that truck can slide all over.
The truck can kind of slide through intersections at time if you're not careful.
On the day he's celebrating his 29th year, Dylan's spending lots of time thinking about the best parts of the job.
Growing up as a kid, you always wanted to play with big trucks, and now I get to do it every day, so it's pretty fun.
He's still mostly thinking about the parts that don't involve himself.
I'm very fortunate to have the crew that I do and get to work with them.
This isn't the end of this winter storm. Crews in Prairie du Sac are planning to continue to be out on the roads through the weather alert day that we have in our forecast until Saturday morning. Make sure to stick with us on our social media pages and on our website at channel3000.com for the latest forecast. Reporting in Prairie du Sac, I'm Catherine Merck for News 3 Now.
For our comprehensive coverage of the storm, we have a dedicated page on our website where you can check out all of our reporting and get your latest weather updates. It can all be found on channel3000.com. And still to come tonight, we'll also take a ride along with a local police officer and see how they respond to calls in this weather.
But first, a News 3 Now investigation why some people in Monroe say they feel the school district took advantage of them.
Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Year right with new furniture during Steinhaffel's year-end sale. Get store-wide savings of 35 to 50%. And with Steinhaffel's 72-month financing, your new furniture and mattresses are more affordable than ever. Steinhaffel's has something for every style and budget. Now's the time to save big on your new furniture, mattresses, and home decor. Shop in-store at our beautiful showrooms or shop from home online at steinhaffels.com. Relax, it's Steinhaffel's.
Holidays can be so stressful. So give the gift of wellness. Buy $100 in Massage Envy gift cards and receive a free $20 promo card. Keep your body working.
Need life insurance? Select Quote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And Select Quote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Select Quote. We shop, you save.
Welcome back. Homeowners generally know to expect hundreds or even thousands of dollars in property tax bills at the end of the year.
But in Greene County, there's a bit of an uproar as residents tell us they got a bill with hundreds of dollars they had no warning about. Investigative reporter Naomi Coles has the story. Naomi?
Eric, it's all about a school referendum that people there say whether they voted for it or not, it left them feeling lied to. The school's advertising for the referendum said one thing, the referendum passed, but their property tax bills left the school needing to pose a very long explanation that voters believe they should have had first.
Back in September, then they knew the impact was going to be this.
Many people put their money where their mouth is when local schools asked them for it, by way of referendum.
I support the overall school district.
Most voters, not Larry and Dale here, voted yes when the Monroe School District asked them for $88 million to build a new high school in November. But several weeks later, it's not just them feeling lied to.
There are a lot of people upset about it.
There was a clear misrepresentation.
Advertising for the referendum appeared to say that they would only pay an extra $13 per $100,000 in home value. But when residents everywhere opened their tax bills several weeks later,
when I looked at the school expecting a $39 increase, my property taxes were affected by $677 total. Just for that school referendum.
On their website, the school tried to explain. It's complex, but boiling it down, that $13 per $100K only applied to 2021 home value. If your home went up in value, as nearly all did, the increase in value would be taxed at a far higher rate, or the full mill rate of $9.33 per $1,000. For the average owner of a $200,000 or $300,000 home, that's hundreds of dollars extra.
For some of these single families, retired, limited income people, that's a big chunk of change.
It's hundreds of dollars that voters didn't expect.
I feel we were misled, and I think they knew behind the scenes that this increase was going to affect the vote, so they didn't let us know the total increase impact. I just wish they'd have been upfront about it.
I talked to the State Department of Public Instruction. They told me they don't have a lot of authority here. Schools typically work with their attorneys when wording referendums. And in this case, it wasn't so much the referendum itself, it was the advertising for it. In addition to the district's explanation on their website, I asked them this morning for a response, and they told me to expect an updated statement tomorrow. I'll be back with an update then.
All right, Naomi, thank you. And still ahead at 6, we hop in a Verona squad car for a ride along to learn more about how they respond during winter storms.
And then we'll also check back in with Julian Seawright with his full forecast as we near Christmas weekend.
Celebrate home for the holidays at Furniture and Appliance Mart. Save up to 30% off appliances like this Bosch dishwasher, now only $549. Plus special financing for 5 years, no money down. At Furniture and Appliance Mart inside Ashley off the Beltline in East Springs Drive.
off right during the final days of the Ford Shine Bright sales event. Don't miss your chance to choose from a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. Or place a custom order, lock in your rate, and you're protected. Plus, new inventory is still arriving daily, so you could drive one home today. This season, choose Flex Buy on a 2022 Escape or Edge SUV and get 0% financing for 66 months at your local Ford dealer, and shine bright.
Do you have an idea for an invention, but you don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp. They've been helping inventors for 35 years. InventHelp has helped over 10,000 inventors get patents. You can meet with an InventHelp representative who'll keep your idea confidential and explain their invention process step by step. And InventHelp's databank includes over 9,000 companies who have agreed to review new ideas. Take action and get the help you need from InventHelp.
800-550-5543. Wisconsin, one of those places where families spend their winters among our frozen lakes and snow-covered hills. With all the fun we're having, it's easy to take for granted how we warm up, by the fire or simply adjusting our thermostat. But what if you couldn't warm up so easily? It might be simple to imagine for 60 seconds, but for many, it's a reality they can't ignore. Working families, elderly, disabled, and veterans struggling to keep their heat and power on in the dangerous cold of winter. Freezing temperatures aren't just uncomfortable for them, they can be deadly. Make a real difference by providing a hand up for a neighbor in need. No matter the amount, every dollar helps. If you or someone you know needs a hand up, our energy, water, and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safe in your home. No one deserves to suffer when we can help each other.
Celebrate home for the holidays at Ashley. Save big on furniture and mattresses with discounts from 30% off and up to 83% off on closeouts. Plus, our gift to you, free white glove delivery. Furnish your room for less than $20 a month, only at Ashley.
Well, welcome back. Taking a live look over Madison again tonight. Actually fairly clear at this time. The snow hopefully moves on out. It's that wind that's coming.
That you can't see.
That's coming that you can't see via our tower cam there. By now, you already know how you can help. The best thing to do is simply stay off the roads. Not everyone, though, is free to take that advice.
Talia Mohideen joined Verona police on a ride-along and shares how they tackle a day like today.
The roads may be snow-covered, but Lieutenant Dustin Fairman says as long as people use common sense, we can manage.
It seems like at least the cars behind me are agreeing with me that it's not worth the danger to try to pass me when I'm doing 54 miles per hour.
He says it helps that many schools and businesses have closed for the day, and most people have heeded the warning. Stay off the roads.
So we've had a handful of vehicle slide-offs this morning, but nothing, no crashes.
But Lieutenant Fairman knows that could change at any moment, so they stay prepared. On days like today, when there aren't too many calls to respond to, officers try to stay ahead of any potential mishaps by constantly evaluating road conditions.
Just so I can get a feel of what I'm going to expect. So if I have an emergency vehicle response on the highway here in 15 minutes, I know what to expect.
And while there were no calls for service on this ride-along,
would you say you've had to push your fair share of cars?
Yes, I would say my fair share.
In his almost 15 years on the force, Lieutenant Fairman has responded to more than a few hectic incidents in the snow.
I will always try to do what I can, and most of the time that is just to get the roadway clear.
In Verona, Talia Mohideen, News 3 Now.
Lieutenant Fairman says speed is a key factor in roughly 90% of crashes and slide-offs. Inattentive driving and poor tire condition also play a role.
Well, let's go to Julian Seawright. He has the latest on what's happening out there. Julie?
Well, first things first, now that the snow is pretty much starting to end throughout much of southern Wisconsin, especially for us here in Dane County, but we still have the potential for blizzard warnings to be in effect for us at some points. Now, again, it is a potential. There's not really a guarantee for it, but this is why we're watching for that potential for us in our area. We're looking at winds to really start to increase and pick up by the time we get into later parts of tonight. Now, all you need for a blizzard warning to go in effect are mainly two things, and that's sustained winds of 35 miles per hour and for falling or blowing snow that will lower your visibility a quarter or less than a mile or less than a quarter of a mile, and those conditions to be sticking around for at least 3 hours consecutively or even more. And that's what we could be seeing for us, especially with the freshly fallen snow in in our area. And once those winds pick up, we could see those visibilities really starting to deteriorate as we continue throughout tonight and especially heading into Friday. And the best case to really just be safe throughout any kind of blizzard warning is to really stay home, because travel in itself will be not only extremely difficult, but near impossible as well. So here's an update on our alert day. Now that we're looking at the snow falling to pretty much be over with, we're looking at blowing snow and very strong winds to be some of the main threats, on top of dangerous wind chills. Those temperatures are already below zero here in Madison. Wind chills have been 20 degrees below zero and even more, and that's really going to be impacting the area throughout the rest of tonight and even heading into the holiday weekend. Now let's go ahead and walk through what we can expect here. Northwesterly winds are going to continue to blow in throughout much of the upper Midwest. So we're going to be seeing that Arctic air continue to roll its way into us, dropping temperatures well below zero, close to the double digits below zero for on the surface. And we can only imagine what the wind chills will be like by the time we are getting into the rest of our Friday. Temperatures will start to improve just a bit, but still just near or even at temperatures lower than zero once we get into our Friday afternoon. May see a couple of spot-up snow showers, but it's mainly going to be the northeast and the east in itself. We're going to stay quiet in terms of falling snow, but we'll still see blowing snow throughout the course of the day as those winds really start to ramp up throughout our Friday. So Friday is the main day to stay home and just stay cozied up and rather safe, because conditions can be rather dangerous. But for the rest of tonight, if you're taking it slow on the roadways, especially around now, it's not too bad of conditions for you to not be able to travel. Here's a look around southern Wisconsin, still holding on to a couple of flurries, but in itself, the system has pretty much moved out. Temperatures on the surface will bottom out to 8 degrees below zero, and tomorrow's temperatures, well, the high is only going to be around 2 degrees. Still looking at double-digit wind chills, and in terms of travel delays and issues with it, could see some minor ones, especially into the upper Midwest, but really, even once we get into our Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, if you want to travel towards parts of Illinois or even near Missouri and to the east, it's not going to be very favorable conditions to travel, as we're going to see those winds once again really start to pick up once we get into the overnights and throughout all of Friday, sustaining around 40 miles per hour winds. And that's just their gusts. As we see for our wind chills, it's going to be dropping to near the middle 30 degrees below zero for tonight. And as we go into tomorrow, slight improvements, but overall it's still going to be well into the 20 degrees and even more below zero. Here's a look at our 10-day forecast. Temperatures are going to be cold and colder until we get into next week. We're looking at those 30s to come in next Wednesday, and then once we go into ring in the new year, we're looking around 40 degrees, which will definitely be welcomed after a weekend like this.
And coming up in sports, the Badger men gonna have to wait a little longer to hit the court at the Kohl Center. I'll give you one guess why next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
At Chevy, the holidays mean going places and doing things you love to do with friends and family. Visit your local Chevy dealer, and when you find your red tag, you find your deal. Then make the most of your time with the people who matter most. Find new moments, find new roads. Well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2022 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab pickups, or get $1,500 total cash allowance on this Silverado with a 2.7-liter engine. Plus, current Chevy owners get $2,500 cash allowance.
Menards has everything you need to light your home. Sylvania's TrueWave Natural Light LED bulbs provide the closest light spectrum to natural sunlight. This helps you to see better by offering an enhanced color experience, which shows colors, whites, and skin tones with exceptional contrast. Save big money this holiday season and get a $10 rebate with a $40 purchase of Sylvania TrueWave LED bulbs now at Menards. Plus, give the perfect gift with a Menards gift card.
Season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms.
If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call right now to find out if you qualify.
Call 1-800-336-0524. 1-800-336-0524.
The holidays can be so stressful. So give the gift of wellness. Buy $100 in Massage Envy gift cards and receive a free $20 promo card. Keep your body working.
This holiday season at the Century House. Give $50 or more to charity and get $200 off any stressless recliner with power, any stressless recliner and ottoman, or any stressless office chair. Or get $200 off each stressless sofa seat or $400 off all stressless Mayfair recliners and ottomans in all Paloma leather colors. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Friday morning, our area is under another alert day. We'll keep you informed as a potentially dangerous winter storm moves through.
Will we see any more snow? And how cold will those wind chills get? Tune in tomorrow from 4:30 till 7.
Wisconsin's game against Grambling State tomorrow has been canceled because, well, just take a look outside. Friday's game will not be rescheduled, so your next opportunity to see the Badgers is next Friday when they welcome Western Michigan to the Kohl Center to wrap up non-conference play. But don't be surprised if Greg Gard finds somebody else to play between now and then. When you think of wrestling coaches, you think of an intense, loud person that's always moving. Not really the case for Mineral Point's Curtis Fiedler. He stays true to himself on the mat and asks his pointers to do the same.
Mineral Point Wrestling,
we want to dominate our opponents.
Here we go, ready? Has a long history of success.
Yeah, winning makes a lot of things fun.
And all this group wants,
ready,
is to keep it rolling.
Keep the tradition going and keep doing what Mineral Point does best.
To do that, they're following the lead of Curtis Fiedler.
I go against a lot of what wrestling coaches are. Hey, happening. I'm feeling glad I got sunshine.
A man who's not your traditional wrestling coach.
It definitely does add to the team because there's joking around sometimes. He likes to enlighten the mood of a bunch of us, so he's fun to be around.
And that calm, cool demeanor is a reminder to his team to be themselves.
Just to tell me that be yourself out there, wrestle how you would always wrestle, and just wrestle as hard as you can, and that's all you can ask for.
Or as Fiedler likes to say,
okay, now stop.
You be you.
I don't want robots in there. Yes, I want hard workers. Yes, I want intense guys and girls that are going to work their tail off and do what's expected of them. But, you know, show off your personality a bit. Flash a smile.
Because when you're true to yourself,
I don't want them to be anyone else. I want them to be themselves, because when they're themselves, they're unstoppable.
It's hard to take you down.
That away, fellas. That away, fellas.
It's kind of a quiet night in sports today.
Yeah, weather having a roll out there.
Yes, it is, and it's just kind of ruling our forecast. As disrespectful temperatures are going to highlight our holiday weekend. So, folks, make sure that you're staying indoors for Fridays. It's going to not only be windy, but also rather dangerously cold.
And thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.